Now, because Megan is cast in these really inappropriate roles, and she's had the unfortunate reality of working with some of the creepiest guys out here in Hollywood, she's actually tried to speak out. But when she did speak out, there were plenty of consequences. Megan said, "I predated Me Too and got ridiculed for calling out Hollywood's misogyny." From 2008 until 2009, Megan spoke about sexism she encountered in the industry. In particular, her experiences working with director Michael Bay. She compared Michael to Hitler, and at the same time, also Napoleon. Quote, "He wants us to be like Hitler's on his sets, so he is. So he's a nightmare to work for, but when you get him away from set and he's not in director mode, I kind of really enjoy his personality because he's so awkward. So hopelessly awkward," Megan says. "He has no social skills at all, and it's endearing to watch him. He's vulnerable and fragile in real life, and then on set, he's a tyrant." I mean, saying those things publicly about one of your former bosses, it's probably not going to go well. In 2009, with Wonderland magazine, Megan made headlines when she criticized Michael Bay's director style, describing him as wanting to cultivate an insane, infamous madman reputation. Now, because she started to speak out against Michael Bay, her job opportunities started to lessen and lessen. Michael Bay actually dismissed her from the third film, which was set to come out, and it turns out that Steven Spielberg also wanted her out of there. Michael insisted to GQ that he did not want to fire her and that Steven Spielberg made him do it. He also issued an apology for terminating his leading lady, saying, "I'm sorry, Megan, I'm sorry I made you work 12 hours. I'm sorry I'm making you show up on time. Movies are not always warm and fuzzy." So his apology isn't much of an apology, huh? And because Michael Bay started to dismiss Megan Fox, she went even harder on him, which in hindsight, I mean, kudos to you for doing that, but it definitely hurt her career. And going on to Jimmy Kimmel and talking about that Bad Boys 2 movie scene with the waterfall and talking about her being underage, it just starts to, work against her, because now people are starting to talk about it and create reasons on why we shouldn't hire Megan Fox, and starting to question whether, are the directors all bad, or is she just entitled?
The hashtag cancel Kimmel is trending after the late night show host's past has come back to haunt him. In particular, it's an interview with actress Megan Fox, where she was talking about working with director Michael Bay.
I had just turned 15, and I was an extra in Bad Boys 2. And they brought me in, and I was wearing a Stars and Stripes bikini and a red cowboy hat. And he approved it, and they said, Michael, she's 15, so you can't sit her at the bar and she can't have a drink in her hand. So his solution to that problem was to then have me dancing underneath a waterfall getting soaking wet. And that's
perfectly wholesome.
At 15, I was in 10th grade. So that's
Wow.
This comment reads, "It's a little disturbing that the hashtag cancel Michael Bay wasn't trending instead. Not that Jimmy Kimmel's response was appropriate at all." Now, Megan's willingness to speak out came with consequences. After she was let go from the Transformers franchise following Revenge of the Fallen, she became the target of a smear campaign. An anonymous letter allegedly written by crew members was published online, criticizing her professionalism and her attitude on set. And that's not good. If the crew is talking bad about you, crew are so important. I just wrapped a reality show recently, and all of the crew, they're crucial, and they're also, they're people. They deserve respect, and if they're writing bad about you, then nobody wants you to be there at all. Not even the directors, not the mic people, not the camera people. But there are some people who believe that Michael Bay actually orchestrated this letter, this anonymous letter from these staffers, because he's trying to build his case against Megan. The anonymous letter wrote, "We can't give our names because sadly doing so in Hollywood could lead to us being banished from future projects." They call Megan Fox dumb as a rock, saying that she never smiles and she's the grumpiest on set. She's the queen of talking trailer trash and posing like a P-star. Her acting is cringeable, and she has a paragraph tattooed on her backside, probably due to her rotten childhood. This is one of the meanest letters I've ever come across. They continue, "She's as ungracious as a person that you could ever fathom." Now, they are bringing up very specific moments, which does make me believe that this is coming from some type of crew, but I'm not entirely sure. Now, this letter was bad for Megan. She got tons of backlash. She revealed, "I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want to take a photo, do a magazine, walk a red carpet. I didn't want to be seen in public, all because of the fear, the belief, the absolute certainty that I was going to be mocked or spat at, or someone was going to yell at me. So I went through a very dark moment after that."
I don't know if the psychological breakdown was strictly related to being objectified. I think it was more related to just being dehumanized dehumanized. It was more the negativity that was constantly being spewed towards me or directed towards me. It doesn't even require somebody to actually say something directly to me. It doesn't require me to read it. But when so many people around the world are thinking about you or have negative thoughts or intentions towards you, that energy permeates me, it penetrates me. I don't have boundaries and walls for that.
Even when Megan tried to take on some more feminist work, such as her role in Jennifer's Body, she was still met with bad press and reviews, and her character was labeled shallow. She said, quote, "I've never felt completely included in the feminist community, and I do think that that's tricky in an awful way. Whenever I provoke in them, it's not something that they can digest very well, and so that comes back to me as they reject me for those reasons." She adds, "And I just don't think I was a very sympathetic victim." Here's an interview where Megan was asked about all of this objectification.
My psychological type is not an introvert, but fame made me introverted. And if you're delicate or sensitive at all, I think it's a really hard thing to go through. And so I shut down a lot and sort of retreated from everything and was essentially in hiding for several years of my life ahead of the Me Too movement by almost a decade. I was sort of speaking out against some of the abusive, misogynistic, patriarchal things that were going on in Hollywood back in 2008 and 2009, way before people were ready to embrace that or tolerate it. And I actually got ridiculed for doing it.
Now that we've covered the dark parts in her career, I want to talk about her relationships because this gets even darker. Thank you for watching this clip from the Let's Get Into It podcast. To view the full episode, visit the link listed below.